Good morning and welcome back to Margin. This morning we're going to talk about how your income scores when it comes to your financial snapshot. So let's jump right into it. So we've been working our way through a series on a financial snapshot. We started out by going through an overview based on someone who is really consistent across each category. Now that's not reality, but that was just an opportunity to show you what a person's finances would look like if they were consistently excellent in their finances and managing those 6 key categories, for example. Then we moved on to looking at budget and jumping into a plan to spend and how you rated specifically in that area. Now I wanted to jump into income and looking at how you rate in regards to your income. So most people don't evaluate their incomes unless they are up for a raise of some kind, unless they're interviewing for a different role or position, or they're changing industries altogether. But it's important to look at your income in relation to your field and looking at the competitive field that you operate within and figuring out if you are paid competitively or not. So I say this carefully because so many people look at how much they enjoy their job and they don't necessarily look at the competitive nature in regards to maximizing their incomes. Now, it's not about the money, it's not about the income, it's about making sure that you are utilizing the role that you're in to accomplish the goals that you have set forth. And so if the position that you're in is not allowing you to accomplish your goals, it may be time for you to reevaluate that role to figure out if a different role makes more sense or if you need to change industries. Now, especially in a time like this where we have an onslaught of AI and automation coming our way, it may be a ripe time for you to look at whether your job, whether your career field is a going concern, whether it's something that is stable or something that could easily be replaced by automation. Now, through that process, I know that can be challenging to even think about your position being replaced, but many people don't actually look at this until it's on their doorstep. And so I want to encourage you to look at your field and where it's going from a technology standpoint. See if you're at risk for your position to be displaced by technology. In the episode on mastering the offense of wealth building, we looked at the importance of building multiple streams of income. So as I was mentioning the importance of evaluating the career field you're in, that is your primary position. That's your primary role. But I also want to look at the importance of making sure that you're not just operating off of one income source. And I say that because many people think it's the safest thing in the world to go work for a 9-to-5 and have that 9-to-5 that you step foot into every day. But what many people don't realize is that means that you have one client. And if that client goes away and you are laid off or you are furloughed or something like that, you immediately lose that income source. So assuming that the career field you're in is something that you first and foremost enjoy, it's something that you actually feel like you are fulfilling a purpose by being there. Second of all, you are actually good at that. You've built up a trade that you have a specific skill set in and that you have a proficiency in that makes it comfortable for you to step into a position within that field. And then third of all, the provision aspect, looking at making sure that position is actually paying the bills. Now, assuming that you are going off of those 3 categories, which we will look at on a future episode more in depth, but for now, making sure that you at least touch on those 3 categories with your position, you may want to consider renegotiating the terms of your existing role. But before you do that, you'll want to do some market research so that you have substantiation on whether your position is actually worth more than what you are paid for. So in order to accomplish this, you may want to look at Glassdoor.com, Salary.com, RobertHalf.com, or something like that that allows you to evaluate your income in relation to other people in the field that you're in. And you may also be able to utilize a platform like LinkedIn or something like that to also evaluate whether you are in line with others within your industry based on the same level and skill set and proficiency and so on and so forth. But the important part is to make sure that you are going into this with a mindset to make sure that you are doing your research first, that you're looking at your industry and how you measure up. So once you evaluate what other positions are listed currently, what other individuals in your career field and at the level that you're at are paid, and also looking at other actual intangibles in regards to being able to work remote or being able to work in an office that has a enjoyable environment or something like that. You'll want to take all of those things into account and make sure that it's not just the pay that you're looking at, but it's also the benefits package. It's also the intangible benefits for working with a certain group of people or within a career field. And so there's other aspects you want to make sure that you're factoring in so that you're not just making a decision off of the numbers. So another aspect to consider is whether or not you are married and you have a spouse who also has a primary income source. And so you'll want to evaluate both your primary income source as well as your spouse's to see what kind of benefits packages that you've been provided, being able to look at your income, their income, and all the tangible and intangible aspects to figure out whether it makes sense to ask for a raise, whether it makes sense to apply for positions outside of the company you work in, or to change industries altogether. Now, in conjunction with this, you'll also want to evaluate multiple income streams, as I mentioned at the beginning of the episode. So this will be important to look at not only what your primary income source is, but also looking at whether you have dividend income, whether you have interest income or a rental property that you gain income from, or any kind of capital gains. All of those aspects that you could potentially be making a side hustle income from, additional income from, you want to factor those in. And I would encourage you to go through the process of figuring out how many different income sources you have. Now, you may have just a primary income source, and there's nothing wrong with that. But for many in this day and age, they may have 2 or 3 income sources, or what is commonly referred to in the millionaire circle of having 7 or more income sources. If this information is helpful to you, please do like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you're reminded to come back on a daily basis and improve in managing your personal finances. Thank you for your time. Enjoy your day, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.